So welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to our lecture series called Daily News in Shorts. In this lecture series, we cover a particular day's current affairs in a short span of time. Now, needless to say this, you have to revise this lecture just after watching it. Because if you'll just watch this lecture, well, these current affairs which we'll cover will quickly skip your memory. You won't be able to retain them till your exams. Therefore, revision is extremely important. Now, you can revise these current affairs from the notes provided by us, and these notes shall be shared on our Telegram platform. The link to our Telegram channel is given in the comment section below. Okay, so check that out. Revise the current affairs that you have just covered from the lectures. All right, then. Enough of the introduction. Let's straight away jump into the lecture. But first, let's take a look at the list of topics that we shall cover today. So let's begin. So yeah, daily current affairs, 10th of December, Wednesday, and here is the list of topics. Okay, number one topic is related to yellow line, which is now the new border between Israel and Gaza. Okay, what is this yellow line? It is not actually a border, but well, Israeli Defense Forces are saying so. So we'll investigate this issue. Okay, this is topic number one. Then topic number two is with respect to rice exports to USA, because USA, Donald Trump is alleging India, or is alleging that India is dumping its rice to USA, destroying US rice market. Okay, so is India doing so? What is the situation or what is the trade profile of India's export of rice? We'll talk about this, or whether Donald Trump's allegations are true or not. We'll talk about this. Okay, then topic number three is related to cyber slavery hubs in Southeast Asia. Okay, it's a very bad situation, so we'll talk about this, and in the end we'll talk about blue corner notice issued by Interpol, not yet issued, but will be issued by Interpol against the owners of that nightclub in Goa, where this deadly fire occurred. Okay, so our focus would be what is blue corner notice, what is Interpol, and what other notices, red corner notice, green corner notice, yellow corner notices are issued by Interpol. Okay, so these are the four topics. Topic number one is clear-cut related to international relations portion of your UPSC syllabus. Topic number two is related to both international relations as well as economy portion of your UPSC syllabus. Topic number three is clear-cut international relations as well as security portion of your UPSC syllabus. And topic number four, clear-cut international relations portion of your UPSC syllabus. It can be argued that it is also related to security because Interpol is an international law enforcement agency. But nonetheless, this is the division. Okay, international relations heavy lecture is going to be today's lecture. Okay, nonetheless, we have to cover whatever is there in the newspapers. So let's start discussing these topics one by one, starting with topic number one, and that is yellow line, Gaza border. Now the thing is, we all know what happened between Hamas and Israel. Okay, there were, skirmishes, fighting going on, and Israel launched an offensive against Hamas in Gaza. There was a humanitarian crisis, everyone knows about it, but then Donald Trump jumped in and basically brokered a ceasefire between the two. And he gave a 20-point plan for Gaza peace in Gaza. Okay, 20-point plan for, peace in Gaza, development of Gaza, and eventual Palestinian statehood. But recently, Israeli Defense Forces, or a general in Israeli Defense Forces, has made an announcement which won't allow this 20-point plan to get implemented. Okay, he basically talked about a yellow line. Now, what is this yellow line? How will it prohibit the 20-point plan? Okay, how will it prohibit this 20-point plan from getting implemented? What are going to be this move's implications, wider implications? We'll talk about all these things. Okay, so let's quickly discuss this topic. So yellow line, Gaza border. So what was in the news? Israel's yellow line in Gaza refers to an informal dividing line inside Gaza Strip that the Israeli military is treating as the new forward defensive border, with major implications for the ceasefire plan, Trump's 20-point plan, and prospects for Palestinian statehood. Okay, this yellow line can restrict the implementation of 20-point peace plan. First, let's take a look at this yellow line. Okay, so as you can see over here, this is Israel, this is West Bank, and this is Gaza Strip. Now when we zoom in on Gaza Strip, this entire thing is Gaza Strip. This was Palestinian territory, Hamas territory. But Israel launched an offensive, okay? And Israel occupied this area. The area shaded in yellow is occupied by Israeli Defense Forces. And Israeli Defense Forces have said that we will occupy this area for security reasons, and we have established a yellow line. And this is the de facto line between Israeli Defense Forces and, well, Gazans, Palestinians. Now, the thing is that earlier, before fighting stopped, well, Israel was there in the entire territory of Gaza. But after the ceasefire, Israel came back behind this yellow line. And Israel says that we will stay behind this yellow line. Now, the thing is, the ceasefire that was brokered by Donald Trump had 3 phases. Okay, phase number 1 was Hamas should stop fighting and Israel should completely withdraw from Gaza. Not yellow line, completely withdraw from Gaza, come back to its own territory. Okay, once this phase 1 is done, okay, so it is Hamas's fighting should stop, IDF, Israel Defense Forces, should withdraw. Okay, after this, phase 2 will be initiated, which is a very important phase and which is something that Donald Trump is proud of. Under this, the entire Gaza will be handed over to a neutral body of technocrats. Okay, it will be managed and this entire area would be demilitarized and then managed by a technocratic committee. In that, technocrats from USA, Arab states would be there, and the entire area would be demilitarized. After demilitarization, after, well, peace is restored, after a few years, then eventually we can talk about giving statehood to Palestine. That Palestine will be a separate country, full-fledged member of UN. Okay, eventually, well, once the situation stabilizes after this neutral management, phase 2, then Palestinian statehood can be talked about. Now, this looks very good on paper. But one particular problem with this plan of Donald Trump is there are no specific timelines. And because there are no specific timelines, you don't know what will happen when. Because of deadlines and timelines, people say that this plan is not going to get implemented. Let's talk about this. So phase 1 was Hamas should stop fighting. Hamas stopped fighting. Israel should stop fighting. Israel stopped fighting. Then, next step in phase 1 was Israel should completely withdraw. Once Israel withdraws, then only phase 2 can be initiated. But Israel has created this artificial yellow line. So as per this agreement, Israel has not completely withdrawn, okay, not come behind this line. If that doesn't happen, then phase 2 won't be initiated as per the deal. And if Israel stays here for longer periods of time, then this peace plan of Donald Trump would go to, well, waste. Okay, so this is the issue. So somehow people are saying now Israel is acting as a roadblock to Donald Trump's peace plan, much to the frustration of Donald Trump. He won't like it. Okay, but this is the situation. Now let's talk about the key specifics of Donald Trump's 20-point plan. Okay, so key elements were in phase 1, return all hostages. Both sides should return all hostages within 72 hours of ceasefire. Exclusion of Hamas from any future government in Palestine. Stop fighting, ceasefire. Complete withdrawal of IDF. Then, after complete withdrawal, rebuilding a demilitarized Gaza under international supervision, normalization between Israel and Arab states. This was condition number 2, phase 2. And after all of this happens, normalization happens, then a possible pathway to Palestinian settlement or the question of Palestinian statehood. But the catch is, if Israel doesn't withdraw, you cannot make Gaza entirely demilitarized. If you cannot make Gaza entirely demilitarized, then how will you establish this government under international supervision which will manage Gaza? How will you do it? And everything falls apart. This is the current situation. Now, if this continues, well, then situation looks bleak because Donald Trump, America-Israel relations would get spoiled. Israel-Arab countries' relationship would get spoiled. So we need further clarity from Israel, because this statement was made by a general of Israel Defense Forces. It was not an official statement of Israeli Prime Minister or any Israeli government official. So let's wait for Israel's official response. But as of now, the situation looks bleak. It's bad in the Middle East. Okay, so yeah, that's about it. Okay, now let's quickly shift our focus to next news item, and that is rice exports to USA. Now, what is the situation? Okay, you see, you all know that Donald Trump is applying pressure on India via tariffs. Now, recently, Donald Trump made a statement Basically, you need to know the context of the statement also. The thing is that a US team is in India to negotiate a trade deal between India and USA. And in that trade deal, there would be some give and take, some concessions India would give, some concessions USA would give. But to pressurize India to give more concessions to USA, well, Donald Trump is applying pressure tactics. And what is this pressure? This pressure involves a threat. And that threat is related to more tariffs. Tariffs on export of rice to USA. Donald Trump recently made a statement that, look, India is dumping rice to USA. By dumping, it means that India is selling rice to USA at extremely cheap prices, because of which American rice producers are outcompeted. They are not able to sell to their own market, USA market. And this is really bad. Therefore, Donald Trump said that we will apply tariffs on Indian rice exports to USA so that artificially we can increase the price of Indian rice in USA, and thereby giving level playing field and fair competition to American rice producers. This is the whole idea. But everyone knows that Donald Trump is saying this to apply pressure. Why everyone knows this? Well, the thing is, when you investigate, you realize India is not dumping rice at all. Donald Trump just made this story up. He just made it out of thin air. Okay, he is just applying pressure on India that I will apply tariffs on you. That's it. Because if you look deep, you realize India is not dumping rice at all. And there is no such dumping in USA going on. Okay, so let's look deep. Let's talk about India's rice trade profile. Okay, so let's begin. So rice exports to USA. So what was in the news? Well, Donald Trump was in the news. So US President Donald Trump has claimed India can't be allowed to dump rice in US and undercut domestic producers of USA. And that he would take care of the problem using tariffs. But the truth of the matter is, India is not dumping rice in US. And there are various reasons behind this. Okay, what are the reasons? First of all, you need to know what is dumping. Okay, so in trade economics, dumping refers to selling goods in a foreign market at prices lower than in home market. Okay, let's suppose that in India, rice is sold at, let's suppose, $10 per bag. Okay, this is in India. But when India exports it to USA, well, India sells it at $5 per bag. Okay, so India is selling rice at a price that is artificially made cheap, so that India exports more and more rice to USA. And because India is selling at extremely cheap price to USA, US rice producers are not able to sell to their own people. Okay, this is known as dumping. Now, how can you solve dumping? Well, generally, when a good is dumped in a country, that country applies tariff. When you apply these tariffs, these taxes, the final price of the good, imported good, increases, and thereby you increase the price and give a breathing space to your own domestic producers. So when China sells goods to India, let's suppose China sells this pen to India at extremely cheap price. So you apply tariffs, increase the price, increase it to such a level that, well, Indian pen producers can compete. You understand? Now, these tariffs that are basically, that are basically a response to dumping are called anti-dumping duties. And they are permissible under WTO. That's what Donald Trump is saying. Though Donald Trump rarely listens to WTO, but that's what he's saying. But if you investigate, you realize that, well, India, what is Donald Trump saying? Donald Trump is saying India is dumping rice into USA, thereby harming American producers, because American producers are not able to sell to their own people. But the fact is, America is not a net consumer of rice itself. In fact, America is net exporter. You feel the problem of dumping when you are the net consumer. You consume a lot. Because you consume a lot, therefore your own producers want to sell to you. But America doesn't consume that much rice. America is a net exporter. So first of all, American rice producers are not getting hurt. Most of them are exporting abroad. They're not selling to America. So why are they saying that we face competition from Indian rice in America? That's a lie. Number two, India sells rice to Russia. But As far as India's exports are concerned, a very minuscule minority of rice are exported to America. Most of India's rice are exported to Gulf countries, other countries. India doesn't export that much rice to America. Okay? And number two, the amount of rice or the kind of rice that is exported to USA is premium quality rice, top grade basmati rice, which has a very high price. Okay? Very high price. So when you are saying that India is dumping rice into your country, how is that possible? The kind of rice India sells to USA is premium quality, top notch, very high price. So this is false allegation. Okay. Most rice imported into USA come from Thailand and India, and both these countries sell premium quality rice to America. Okay. So there is no dumping. Now the question is, well, if Donald Trump applies these tariffs, will India get hurt? The answer is a big no. No matter how much tariffs Donald Trump applies on India when it comes to rice, India will not get hurt. Why? Well, India is the world's largest producer and exporter of rice. The US accounts for only a small fraction of these exports, like under 5%. For basmati rice, less than 5% of India's exports go to USA. And for non-basmati rice, less than 0.5% goes to USA. More than 90% of India's rice goes to other areas. So USA can apply how much tariffs they want. USA can do whatever it wants. It won't hurt Indian exporters. So basmati exports from India are concentrated in West Asian countries. Like India exports a lot of basmati rice to Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran, UAE. Less than 5% goes to USA. And when it comes to non-basmati rice, most of exports are to Africa, Benin, Togo, Cote d'Ivoire, Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea, Senegal. And USA just forms 0.5% of market share when it comes to non-basmati rice. So do whatever you want, okay? It won't impact rice exporters, at least in India. So this won't apply any pressure in these trade negotiations between America and India. All right, okay? That would be all as far as this topic is concerned. Now let's quickly shift our focus to next news item, and that is very bad situation, okay? Cyber slavery in Southeast Asia. Now, what is cyber slavery? I'll draw a picture for you. You'll understand what is happening. You all must have, faced this or have fallen, some of you have fallen victim to this, or some of you know a person who has fallen a victim to cyber frauds. These calls coming to you and they defraud you of, well, money, property, many other things, okay? You all know that cyber fraud is rising in India. And the reason why police or law enforcement agencies can't do anything about it is because these scam calls are made from outside India. And mostly these scam calls come from Indians because they are talking in Indian languages. But these scam calls are coming from Indians who are sitting in Myanmar, sitting in Cambodia, sitting in Laos. Okay? Now you must be feeling pissed with these Indians. How can these Indians do this? These are bad Indians. But do you know what? These Indians are trapped there. It's not their fault. What happens is that these Indians in India, because of joblessness in India, they apply for jobs online. Sometimes they visit shady websites. Over there, well, there are advertisements for job opportunities in Thailand. Thailand appears fine. And then these job opportunities also have a salary of 80,000 to 1 lakh rupees per month. So these people get attracted. So they fly to Thailand. Over there, they meet these people. These people then snatch away their passports, everything, coerce them, and then smuggle them into Myanmar, Laos, Cambodia through smuggling routes. Over there, these people, because they are, well, English-speaking people, they are forced to make these scam calls. The criminals in Myanmar, Laos, Cambodia are running these call centers where these people are kind of slaves. And they have to make calls for 15 to 18 hours in a day. Okay? So these people are trapped themselves. They are making these scam calls because they are forced, because they were duped by these fraud ads. This is known as cyber slavery. And most of cyber slavery is happening in these three countries of Southeast Asia: Myanmar, Laos, Cambodia. Now, we'll talk about what is cyber slavery, though I hope you know now, right? But we'll talk about why only these three countries are, well, famous for it. Why only these three countries? Okay, so let's talk about this. So cyber slavery hubs in Southeast Asia. So cyber slavery hubs in Myanmar, Cambodia, Laos have emerged as a major destination where Indian job seekers are trafficked, confined, forced to carry out large-scale online frauds from scam compounds, scam call centers, okay, that operate like call centers. Now, what is cyber slavery? If you take a look at the definition, formal definition, cyber slavery refers to trafficking of people under the garb of overseas job and then forcing them under coercion and confinement to execute cyber frauds. Okay, these syndicates run call center style scam compounds, mostly in Myanmar, Laos, Cambodia. In Myanmar, there is a place called Mayawadi where most of these scam call centers are. Okay, victims are typically lured via social media job portals, then they are brought to Thailand, and then their IDs, passports, everything is seized and they are held captive. This is slavery. Okay, this is what is happening. These are the three countries. Okay, Myanmar, Cambodia. Okay, this is Thailand, Myanmar, Cambodia, Laos. This is Laos. Okay, this is the situation, and this is a huge problem. Clear? Now, why only these three countries? Why these three countries? Well, first of all, these three countries ran on tourism. And in tourism, there were a lot of casinos that were working over there. Many criminal syndicates used to run these casinos. Once COVID hit, these casinos closed down, tourism stopped. Plus, Myanmar is a very unstable place. A civil war-like situation is going on. There is no law and order, and that is why criminal gangs are running amok. So this is the situation in these three countries. So post-COVID, there was economic distress. There were many job applicants from India. Legal betting casino ecosystems, widespread corruption in these countries allowed criminal networks and some rebel groups to convert casinos into cyber scam centers. Plus, these are getting support from terrorist organizations or drug cartels because they also need money. So they are financed. Well, these terrorist organizations finance these criminal enterprises who are running these cyber scam centers. Rebel groups in Myanmar and armed groups, insurgent groups in Myanmar also need finance. So they are using this to gain finance, to fight their fight against Myanmar's government or military junta in Myanmar. These are the reasons. Now, what is Indian law enforcement agency doing about it? What are the steps taken by government? Well, Delhi police along with Gujarat, Haryana police have arrested agents. There are these agents in India that recruit people for cyber slavery. They have been arrested. Then at airports, proper checks are done. Any flight to Thailand or any of these countries, immigration authorities have been instructed to do proper checks. And then India is reaching out to embassies in Thailand, Myanmar, Cambodia, Laos to coordinate with their law enforcement agencies for raids on these cyber scam areas. Clear? But clearly, more needs to be done because this thing is going on. All right? And that would be all as far as this topic is concerned. So let's quickly shift our focus to last news item of the day, and that is Blue Corner notice by Interpol. Now, it's a very short topic, okay? So listen to me carefully. You all know what happened in Goa, a deadly fire that claimed the lives of many people in the nightclub in Goa, okay? Now, the reason for that fire was negligence by the club owners, nightclub owners. Now, that negligence is categorized as criminal negligence, and because it is categorized as criminal negligence, well, a criminal case is filed against the owners of that nightclub. But those nightclub owners are absconding. They left India and they are currently in Thailand. Now, how can Indian law enforcement agencies, Goa police, catch them? Well, there is an international mechanism where law enforcement agencies or police from different countries can coordinate and collaborate. That mechanism is called Interpol, International Police, Interpol, with its headquarters in Lyon, France. Now, through Interpol, police of different member countries can collaborate and coordinate their actions. So basically, Goa police is coordinating with CBI, and CBI has said that we will ask Interpol to issue blue corner notice against these people, these nightclub owners who are sitting in Thailand. So what is important for us? First of all, we need to know what is a blue corner notice, and then we'll also need to, or we should have information about other colored notices, red corner notice, green color, yellow corner notices. So what are they? Okay, so let's quickly talk about this. Blue corner notice by Interpol. So what was in the news? Brothers Saurabh and Gaurav Luthra, the owners of Birch by Romeo Lane, the Goa club where 25 people died in a fire are believed to have left the country for Thailand, the Goa police said in a statement. CBI is saying that we are cooperating with Interpol to issue blue corner notice against, well, these owners, these brothers. Now, what is a blue corner notice? So, blue corner notice is an international police alert used to collect additional information about a person's identity, location, activities. So, Thailand is also a member of Interpol. So, basically, by issuing this blue corner notice, well, the thing is that wherever this person is, in whichever country these accused people are, the law enforcement agencies of those countries would not arrest these people, but would gather information about these people and give it to Indian police. So basically, it is an information seeking notice that Thailand police should cooperate with us so as to give us information about these people. That's it. Okay. There is another notice that is called red corner. In red corner notice, well, Thailand police will arrest them and then will be in talks with Indian police so as to extradite them or any other thing. Okay. So red corner notice is an arrest warrant. Blue corner is just information sharing. Thailand police should gather information about these people and give it to Indian police. Okay. It is essentially an inquiry notice and does not itself amount to international arrest warrant. The purpose is to help law enforcement agencies in member countries locate, identify, obtain further details about a person who is of interest in criminal investigation. Okay, so this is the situation. By the way, well, in your notes, I have also given a table where different types of colored notices are there. Okay, meaning of red corner notice, blue corner notice, green corner notice, yellow corner notice, and many other colors are there. So please study that table. Plus some information about the Interpol is also given. So do study that as well. All right, makes sense? And that would be all. With that, we conclude today's session. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. And I'm sure it has added value to your preparation. But it would add more value if you're number one, consistent and regular with this lecture series. And number two, you revise it from the notes provided by us on Telegram. In that hope that you'll do that, precisely that, I shall take your leave with the promise of seeing you again with another set of news items. Thank you, everyone.